If you love classic cars, then Donald loves you. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn on your notifications, so that way you won't miss any of our widely varied video programs, including those with me and my friend Jay Leno. Also, follow us on Instagram at Audrain Auto Museum and Audrain Motorsport. So, tappa tre, day 3 of the Mille, and this is a great adventure, as all these days are. Another long day from Rome to Bologna.
Yeah, only 16 or 17 hours?
16 or 17 hours, and you know, it's really great. You know,
walk in the park.
Italy is a wonderful place because you think Italy is all sort of sunshine and beaches or ski resorts in the north or heat in the south, but what's great about Italy is the topography, that wonderful central spine of mountains. So driving the relatively short distance, normally, from Rome to Bologna is not a big deal. I think Rome is something like 170 feet above sea level, and Bologna is 190 feet above sea level, so that's easy, right?
More or less the same, right?
Exactly. Unfortunately, you have to go through 2,690 feet on the way. So, but that's one of the great fun things about the day. One of the other things, of course, is history. You know how much I love history, and I love sharing these really arcane and totally useless facts along the trip. Things I know fascinated you. Like, you know, one of my favorite figures in the entire world of music. When I was studying music, I was fascinated by these characters, and one of them, none more than Guido d'Arezzo, who was the guy who invented modern musical notation. And of course, we got to drive through Arezzo.
Yeah,
so it's like, ciao, Guido. We're here. We
Guido,
should sing in your honor.
I thought that was me. I thought I was Guido.
Tonino, you're not Guido. But of course, you know, the other theme of this day, as we talked about before, is Tony to Bologna.
Yes.
Tonino to Bologna.
Tony to Bologna, that's right. Speaking of Bologna, obviously it started the day off with a nice meal. The best part. I think out of all of the days, this was probably my favorite. We had already gone through 2 days, obviously the first day and the second day, which was long, but now I was more accustomed to using the route book and filming, and I had kind of a routine down pat, and I was feeling a lot more comfortable. You know, I had already gone through a long day, so I knew what I was.
You knew what to expect.
Yeah. I know that you had brought a couple extra protein bars and whatnot for us, mainly me. But it was such an exciting day. I mean, we got to drive by the Mugello circuit, which I was so excited about. Obviously, that was a little later in the day, but seeing all of these beautiful roads, especially when we got into the Futa Pass at the end.
The legend of the Mille is tied to the Futa and Raticosa Pass.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the incredible tests of man and machine.
Yes.
And it was actually a place where I think for both of us, frankly, the characteristics of our little Seata really came into play, because we thought, okay, we're going to climb to 2,500, 2,600 feet in this 43 horsepower car. Yeah. What's that going to be like?
It was so incredible seeing the car just perform really effortlessly. And it just went, and I remember when we first started, I was saying, wow, Donald, this road is incredible. And it wasn't even like the real Futa Pass. It was like the pre-Futa Pass. And I was thinking to myself, wow. I mean, all of the hairpin turns up the hill there. I mean, that was just so fun. And I think the car, you know, being from 1940, but the handling of the car was glued to the road.
It was absolutely amazing. And it's funny too, because two things really reinforced it. One, of course, was the thing that really gave you a charge, which was our motorcycle escort, which was absolutely amazing.
Yes.
And I felt slightly bad for the motorcyclist, because clearly he wanted to go a lot faster, but nonetheless, we were right behind him. We were at the head of this line of cars, and it was so neat because you can have a really powerful car, and really big and powerful car, but it doesn't help you on those winding mountain roads.
No. I think the car that we had, I mean, maybe if it had a little bit more horsepower, but the power and the power to weight ratio of the car was perfect for that hill climb, because I mean, you were really going for it at one point, and it was so cool that we were right at the front of that group, and there were all the people on the side of the mountain, even all the way up to the top. They had traveled all the way to the top just to see the cars go by. And what an experience for them to see all these beautiful vehicles screaming by, but yeah, definitely the motorcycle cop was probably wanted to go a little bit faster, but I mean we stuck with him, and I think he was enjoying himself as well. I mean, not a bad detail to be on.
No, you were saying that alternative career, Audrain video production or Italian motorcycle cop riding over the Futa and Futa passes and getting paid for it.
Yeah, I'd like to be chosen for the Bologna unit. And also, speaking of motorcycles, all of the Italian motorcycle police up until that point were all BMWs.
Right.
And then the minute we get into Bologna, everything changed to Ducati, obviously the land of Ducati.
Right.
And I was so excited about that, to see all these officers driving the Ducati Multistrada. And we were doing the Multistrada. I mean, that was a lot of driving we did that day. That was tiring for sure.
Oh yeah. It's a funny thing too, because I have to say, probably for two reasons. One, because again, as you mentioned before, we were in the rhythm of the event at that point.
Yes.
We knew what to expect from another 16-hour day. Also, the fact that we stayed in a really nice hotel, in Rome,
the Medici,
Park the Medici. So that helped that we were rested. But also, I think that we're at home with the car. We feel comfortable in the car. We know what it's going to do. We know exactly when our water is going to get hot. And it was also slightly cooler, as well, because we were going up into the mountains, so we didn't have that incredible heat that we'd had the day before.
Well, I think that helped us, especially because, I mean, we were so warm. That day was so hot during the day, but at night when we had to do that, the Futa Pass obviously is fun, but it's challenging. I mean, it's potentially very dangerous if you don't really know what you're doing. And I think that the cooler temperatures aided us and the car as well, which I think was good, especially at the end.
Exactly, and the fact that we were in June, so we had the benefit of the longer day.
Yeah.
Because I've also described what it's like doing the Futa Pass at night in the rain, which I've done on Mille, and
that doesn't sound very fun.
There you sort of want all-wheel drive and some traction control.
Paddle shifters.
But this is really the essence, I think, of the Mille. It really was the perfect Mille day.
Oh yeah, and then what I really enjoyed, to kind of go back a little bit, was when we had arrived at the halfway point. What was that town that we arrived in?
That's in Arezzo. Was the halfway point.
Yeah.
Lunch in Arezzo.
That park that we were in, and the valley where it was overlooking, and then there was that beautiful church.
And that incredible sculpture in the park.
Yes.
That was absolutely amazing.
And all of the cars surrounding the perimeter of the park. I mean, I think that was probably my favorite rest and lunch spot, just because of the way it was organized and where it was. It wasn't like, I think on day one when we kind of stopped in that
city center.
City center.
Yeah.
I mean, this was so breathtaking, and I remember you were saying, come on, it's time to go, and I was too busy trying to take pictures of every single car that was lined up. And also, there was all these other people that had come around, and then I remember seeing a couple Lamborghinis, and there was a new Mercedes AMG Black Series that was there. That was one of the first ones that I had seen. I think it actually started in Brescia, and there was all these other cars that were following the main event, and everyone was there, and there was that beautiful tent that they set up. I think that was probably my favorite rest spot.
You're absolutely right, and it also
except for maybe the next day, which we'll talk about.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But that day did have the feel of, although of course in the Mille di Velocità, they didn't stop like that for lunch, but it had that sort
kind
of feel
camaraderie.
of an old event. Where everybody's together, the teams are together, as if you're sort of doing fettling on your car before starting the next day or something like that. And it did not feel modern, didn't feel corporate. It felt really like a group of really great old cars back in the time.
And it was fun because, I mean, I don't think we've really spoken about this, but during the rest spot, we sat with those gentlemen from, I think it was Holland.
Yes.
And they were like a group of tech guys and a couple of them were all around the world, but they all came together to do this event. And I think that's what's so great about it is you have all these people that just come together, and it's just, again, I say it all the time, is sharing the passion, but you really feed off of that energy because it's the conversation about cars or whatever it is never ends. It just keeps going and evolving, and that's what makes it so fun.
Absolutely, and when you see those folks out on the road, I think they were all driving Jaguars.
Yes.
And see them out on the road with Jaguars, it's like, yeah, there they are. Like, you know them,
Yeah.
so it's like you're now driving with friends.
Yeah, yeah, that was really, really great. And then at the end, when we stopped in Bologna.
And that was amazing. We had that amazing dinner, and we chatted also with really interesting people at dinner as well.
That guy from Monaco who had a radio show, and there was the other gentleman who was, I think, driving one of the sport cars. But again,
the guy had this car service that worked all around the world for rock stars and all this. It was.
I mean, you never know who you're really speaking to when you do an event like this, and it's just, I don't think, I don't know how to put it. Maybe they don't. It's not that they don't care about their careers, but they're just all they want to talk about is the cars and the Mille.
That is the entire point. It's such a funny thing. I mean, to say that the Mille is a populist event would sort of not be true, except for the fact that the entire population of Italy stops to watch it, and they feel that it's their event as well. These cars are out there for them, for their entertainment, for their education, for their fun. But as you said, it's one of those things that really is the quintessence of the car world. It's completely leveling. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or if you scrape together 2 nickels to do everything this one lifetime event. You're there with them, and you have that in common, and it's fantastic.
It was. I mean, especially at the end there, it was amazing when we came into the parking lot and there was all of those people there. And then, I mean, the hospitality was incredible. I mean, it was a little bit of a further walk to dinner than I would say of some of the other venues, but there were volunteers and people
guiding you on every step through. And of course, Bologna, the center of Bologna is so incredibly beautiful. And Bologna, we're talking about history. We went from ancient Rome through Arezzo, Guido inventing musical notation around 1024 to Bologna. It's got the oldest university in the world, founded in 1088. I mean, and this is just sort of like, it's where you go.
It wasn't like we stopped at a Five Guys or something like that. Nothing against them, but I mean, I think that day I was really starstruck by it because of these are the roads, especially the Futa Pass. Remember, there was a Top Gear on it, and to actually drive on it and to have a police escort was for me one of the coolest experiences. I mean, I was so tired at that point, but doing that pass and driving to Bologna really gave me life.
You're re-energized. I noticed, and probably you noticed, how tired we were when we got out of the car.
Oh my!
In the car, you're in the moment. You're so much in the moment.
Your legs get a little wobbly when you get out of the car.
Exactly.
But I remember there was one point where you were doing this long left-handed sweeper, and it was the turn was almost banked, and there was a break in the trees, and I looked out, and the sun was setting. I mean, it was like a movie. The sun was setting, and there were all of these rolling hills, and everything was this beautiful green, and it was just like, wow. And it was just a flash of time because I had to focus on the route book and I was filming, but it was a moment that I took to really take everything in. Again, like I said at the beginning, I didn't actually think I was doing it until I was at the start line, and it was one of those similar moments where I said to myself, whoa, I'm actually participating in this. And that was a pretty powerful, maybe emotional moment that I really remember from the event in that day.
The Mille, for me, and clearly for you, is always a very emotional thing. You always look back on it and reflect on the challenges, but you really don't think about the challenges when you're in it. And it is moments like that sort of give it all back, whatever difficulties there might be.
Yeah.
And of course, the fact that also we didn't worry about running out of gas either, which is very good.
Well,
You were on the case.
I was.
You were on the case.
Well, I didn't. I was thinking about the day before where we were chugging up that hill and I was ready to murder you. But I had written in the route book, which we have here. And this also, I wrote this in a highlighter, so clearly I had transitioned from pen to highlighter at that point, because if you look a little bit further, it's pen. Yeah, not one of my strong suits, but I had marked gas with this asterisk, like we need to get gas. And yeah, that was fun too, because you get to the gas station and obviously there's normal everyday cars there, and then there's always other participants doing the same thing that you're doing, whether they're ahead of you, behind you, newer cars, older cars. Again, it's the same thing. Oh, how does this do? How's that? And everybody kind of, good luck type of thing. Yeah, fun, a lot of fun.
Absolutely amazing. So, then, one day remains. We'll see how that went.
Yes, I think that was maybe an easier day for me than it was for you. But we'll touch base with that on the next episode.